Please recite aloud salawat. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عبس وتولى أن جاءه الأعمى وما يضريك لعله يزكى أو يذكر فتنفعه الذكرى أما من استغنى فأنت له تصدى وما عليك ألا يزكى وأما من جاءك يسعى وهو يخشى فأنت عنه تلهى كلا إنها تذكرة فمن شاء ذكره في صحف مكرمة مرفوعة مطهرة بأيدي سفرة كرام بررة قتل الإنسان ما أكفره من أي شيء خلقه من نطفة خلقه فقدره ثم السبيل يسره ثم أماته فأقبره ثم إذا شاء أنشره كلا لما يقض ما أمره فلينظر الإنسان إلى طعامه أنا صببنا الماء صبا ثم شققنا الأرض شقا فأنبتنا فيها هبا وعنابا وقضبا وزيتونا ونخلا وحدائق غلبا وفاكهة وعبا متاعا لكم ولأنعامكم فإذا جاءت الصاخة يوم يفر المرء من أخيه وأمه وأبيه وصاحبته وبنيه لكل امرئ منهم يومئذ شأن يغنيه وجوه يومئذ مسفرة ضاحكة مستبشرة ووجوه يومئذ عليها غبرة ترهقها قترة أولئك هم الكفرة الفجرة صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات.
पर मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद सलावत। एक सूरह फातिहा मेरे दोस्त के लिए, रेहान अली हैदर इब्न अंसार हैदर। एक और सलावत मिलके भेजिए। इस जवां की मगर बात ही और है। इस जवां کی مگر بات ہی اور ہے. ناز ہر دو جہاں شہ کے لشکر میں ہے. سارے شیر ضیا شہ کے لشکر میں ہے. کتنے ابرو کما شہ کے لشکر میں ہے. کیسے کیسے جوان شہ کے لشکر میں ہے. اس جوان کی مگر بات ہی اور ہے. کون ہے جان کو جس نے وارا نہیں. کون ہے جو کہ آنکھوں کا تارا نہیں. کون ہے جو شہ دین کو پیارا نہیں. کس نے گھوڑے سے گر کر پکارا نہیں. اس جوان کی مگر بات ہی اور ہے. کس نے شے سے بلا کو ٹالا نہیں. خود کو دشمن کی فوجوں میں ڈالا نہیں. کون ہے جو کہ گھر کا اجالا نہیں. کون ہے جس کو زینب نے پالا نہیں. اس جوان کی مگر بات ہی اور ہے. کھا کے تیغ گرے رن میں کیا کیا حسین. لاش پر جن کی تنہا گئے شاہدین. کانپ اٹھا فلک اور لرزی زمین. بیبیاں پھر بھی خیمے سے نکلی نہیں. اس جوان کی مگر بات ہی اور ہے. کس نے زخم سنا دل پہ کھایا نہیں. کس نے سینے کو چھلنی بنایا نہیں، کس کی لاش کو شے نے اٹھا یا نہیں، ہاتھ لے کن بہن نے بٹایا نہیں، اس جوان کی مگر بات ہی اور ہے. صلوات. صلوات.
اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجہ.
خیر سے چھٹ کے آئی ہے زینب، صدمے دل پر اٹھائی ہے زینب، خبر شے کی بنائی ہے زینب، کچھ یتیموں کو لائی ہے زینب، کہتی ہے رو کے لو خبر بھائی، ختم اب ہو گیا سفر بھائی، میں ہوں زینب فلک ستائی ہوں، تم سے ملنے یہاں میں آئی ہوں، اور لوٹے کا فلے کو لائی ہوں، بھائی کیا کیا ستا اٹھائے ہوں، شام تک نانگے سر گئی زینب، کیوں نہ پہلے ہی مان گئی زینب، اٹھ کے دیکھو تو ایک نظر بائی، ٹکڑے صدموں سے ہے جگر پائی، ہو گیا ہے سفید سربائی، جھک گئی ہے میری کمر بائی، وعدہ پورا میں کر کے آئی ہوں، پشت پر تازیہ لکھائے ہوں، سارے کنبے کو ساتھ لائی تھی، محنتوں سے یہ گھر بسائی تھی، میں نے دولت یہ ماں سے پائی تھی، ہو گئی دفن جو کمائی تھی، اب ہو کیوں کر میری بسر بھائی، ہائے کس منہ سے جا بھائی، تھی مقدر میں میرے رسوائی، کیوں نہ درباری میں موت آئی، پیش حاکم गई ये दुख पाई गुस्सा आया तभी गई भाई जो हुए जुल्म से गई ज़ैनब सबके रोने को रे जो गुज़रे रंजो महान बाजुओं में मेरे बंधी थी रसान ते तमाशाई सारे मर्दों जान लुट गई मैं शाहे ज़मान तेरी बाजार शाम में ज़ैनब गई दरबारे आम में ज़ैनब माशाअल्लाह जज़ाकल्लाह
Salawat. I'd now like to invite Brother Sean Abbas to recite some poetry with a loud salawat.
This poem is called Sakina and the Darkness of the Prison of Sham. We turn to the prison of Sham. A 4-year-old girl sits in darkness we can't imagine. Oh, Sakina sits in that dark calm of the prison, knowing that in shadows anything can happen. Shimmer has left her bruised, bloody, and full of fear. Shimmer has left her bruised, bloody, and full of fear, knowing that any minute he can appear, causing her more pain than she could bear. This is Sakina and the darkness of the prison of Sham. She thinks about her father. Even in that darkness, when she can't see him, it's as if her eyes are closed. Where did he go? She woke up to see faces replaced by shadows. She screams, come back to me, I won't disturb your trip, oh last son of Ali. Come back for me, come back to me. If my eyes don't see you, I don't know how they'll see. This is Sakina and the darkness of the prison of Sham. She remembers Karbala. Upon the bloodied sand in pain, my tears fall. With me cries the stars, the sun, moon, and all. As I scream, there is no father to hear my tragic call. The spears pin my father's body to the ground. As I cry, he doesn't cry or even make a single sound. I stay here, and to heaven his heart is fully bound. She wakes up in the prison, in darkness, her sorrows drowned. This is Sakina and the darkness of the prison of Sham. The stark sun beams down upon Sakina's bare head. Shackled and chained, they journey in despair and dread. She looks forward, but only sees the caravan of the enemy. Instead, she looks backwards, and she sees Zainab, her veil held on by a thread. Oh, she looks up, Ya Allah, she looks up, and her face is in fear. Ya Abbas, Ya Hussein, their heads travel on a spear. With that sight of her father, with that sight of her uncle, she lets out a cry. The sacred light of Hussein and Abbas darken on the spear, holding their head high. This is Sakina and the darkness of the prison of Sham. You see that even in that darkness, Sakina radiated light. Even in that darkness, Sakina radiated light, but in that prison, she finally lost her journeyed fight. She was the joy of Robab. She was the joy of Abbas. She was the joy of Hussein. And that joy of so many was finally ended in pain. That joy of so many was finally ended in pain. Her body black and blue, no sign of life. Her body black and blue, no sign of life, lying in stillness. The ladies of Sham refused to bury her, thinking she had an illness. This was Shimr, Zainab's voice cried in shrillness. This was Shimr, Sajjad screamed out and cried. Look what has happened to Hussein's joy and pride. In the darkness of the prison of Sham, Sakina has died.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Sean. Please recite a loud salawat. Before we proceed, I'd like to divert your attention to the IEC Husaini fundraising project. It is a repair and upgrade program which will last from today to the 6th of September. Any money donated will be submitted into various projects throughout the entirety of Husaini. The goal is to repair the cracks, paving, seal coating, and strip the entirety of the IEC Husaini parking lot. We're also going to replace the windows and the steeples of this old building. The project is total to cost about $45,000, so we are sincerely and wholeheartedly accepting any donations. Please remember that the essential services IEC provides to the community are not possible without your generous donations. More information can be found on the table in the back. Let's hope to attain something new from today's Majlis, and without further ado, please welcome Hajj Jalal Moughania with a loud salawat.
I request everyone to please move up closer. I know we have a big hall here. There's a lot of room up front. Please request everyone to come as close as possible. Salawat par Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Second time in the love of Our Lady Sakina alayhi salam, salawat. And a third time in love of our Master, Sahib al-Asr wa zaman, salawat. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله الذي جعلنا من المتمسكين بولاية سيدي ومولاي علي بن أبي طالب. والحمد لله صلوات. والحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. In the name of God, the most beneficent, the most merciful, we ask Allah to send His greatest peace and blessings again upon Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. We praise Allah for all the blessings He has given us, and the greatest blessing being that He allowed us to be of the ones who remain steadfast, dedicated, and loyal in the path of our Master after the Prophet, the commander of the faithful, the prince of the believers, the protector of the Prophet and his message, Al-Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. We praise Allah for this blessing and every blessing, for without Allah, we would have nothing. Assalamu alaikum, my dear respected elders, my dear respected brothers, my dear respected sisters, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We started with analyzing for ourselves and our personal movements and our journeys in gaining closeness to Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam and Ahlul Bayt, and ultimately our closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by introducing a framework that shouldn't be foreign to us, but perhaps in today's world it might provide a little bit more clarity in just the way we're organizing and thinking about this. Islam is our foundation. Islam, our religion, which is based on one quintessential doctrine, one principle. If you were to ask someone, what is Islam all about? There's one statement that sums up Islam altogether. You want to know what that statement is? It's a statement that Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam lived by and died for. It's a statement that you and I say every single day. It's a statement that you and I, in the truest sense, if we realize it, we will not only be successful, we will be happy, we will be purposeful, we will find the meaning in our lives. And that statement is none other than La ilaha illallah. There is no God, but Allah. And this idea, this principle, this doctrine that we have, this ultra-monotheistic view that we have of the world, it's not simply that there's only no partner to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only one that is worthy of being worshipped. That you and I, my dear brothers and sisters, as human beings, we are going to worship something in this world. It's the way we're wired. Human beings have an attachment to things, outside of themselves. We find ourselves, whether you call it worship or not, there will be some form of dependency. A dependency that every human being has. You choose what you want to be dependent on. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, there is no one that is worthy of worship but me. So follow me, and I will give you whatever it is that you wish in this life and the next. You see, a lot of us, when we're thinking about our faith, about our religion, we're thinking about our ticket to paradise, our ticket to Jannah, our ticket to heaven. But I want you to challenge yourself in these nights and see how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala truly is not just providing us a ticket to paradise, a ticket to eternal bliss. He's providing us a ticket for a life that is worth living. It's not just about the delayed gratification of getting to something while sacrificing what is here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you, listen, come to me. I will give you this world and the next. In fact, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would tell His prophets, would tell our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, do not forget your share of this world. This world was made for you. I want us, as we began, these paradigm shifts, they may be basic, they may be foundational, but I'll tell you here, as a humble servant amongst you, I'm not here to impress you. I'm not here to be sophisticated with you. I'm here to relate to you, to connect with you, and insha'Allah together strengthen our love for Abu Abdullah al-Husayn alayhi salam, who is that ship of salvation and that light of guidance. You and I, we don't know how much time we have. We don't. Today may be our last day. Tonight may be our last night. So how are we going to spend it? What are we going to do? If we are not constantly pointing back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam did in every ounce of their existence, then you and I are wasting some time. Does this mean that we neglect all the aspects of our life and simply remain on the prayer rug? No, absolutely not. The Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, it's narrated that one day he saw a man praying at the mosque. The Prophet comes in, he sees the man praying. The Prophet leaves, the man is still praying. The Prophet comes back later on the day, the man is still praying where he is sitting. Same spot, has not moved. Prophet goes, comes back. It's said that the Prophet waited for the man to finish between his prayers. As soon as he finished one of his prayers, he went up to him, said, Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum assalam ya Rasulullah. This man is elated, so happy. The Prophet of God is coming and greeting him. The Prophet tells him, I see you here all the time. It's as if you don't move. He said, yes, Ya Rasulullah, I've dedicated myself to a life of worship. A life of worship. He said, yes. He said, do you have a family? He said, of course, I have a family. A wife and kids. He said, while you are here praying all day, who takes care of your wife and your children? He said, as I have dedicated myself to a life of worship, I've instructed my brother to take care of my family. My dear brothers, it's narrated that the Holy Prophet told him to leave the mosque, leave his place of prayer, and go to his family. And he said, that is your worship. Now tonight we're going to speak a little bit more about spirituality. As what? One of the aspects, one of the dimensions of our lives. Not the foundation. The foundation is Islam, a deen. And a deen, we know Islam is Al-Quran and Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. Right? That's our foundation. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa ali is telling this man, who he is thinking to himself, I am dedicating my life to Allah. He tells him, it's not only on the prayer rug. Go to your family. Take care of your family. Go work. Go into the marketplace. Now we have a number of narrations that tell us. I want you to be thinking along these lines. We have a number of narrations that tell us, describing some of the attributes of the Shia, the followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam, it said that he tells one of his companions, would you like for me to describe to you what it means to be a Shia? Who are the Shia? He says, may my life be sacrificed for you, Ibn Rasulullah. Please tell me. He gives him a list of attributes describing who are the Shia. They are the most trustworthy. They are the most honorable. When people need something, they can go to them. The people are safe from their tongues. The Shia don't speak ill of people. Now, when you're thinking about your spirituality in these nights, we need to be thinking about these basics. When the Holy Prophet was said that he was sent to perfect the best of manners, you and I, our spirituality and what we have with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a relationship, do you not think that it's connected to the people that are sitting amongst us? Our family members? Some of us, when we get told, hey, maybe you're being a little too aggressive. Maybe you're being a little too pushy. Maybe you're being a little too authoritative. Me? How dare you? You may be questioned. You may be asked by your spouse, by your children, by your co-workers, by your colleagues, to really check yourself. How do we check ourselves? Do we have the humility to check ourselves? Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam continues to describe. I'm going to throw these thoughts with you guys. I'm going to throw it. Because I'll tell you this. When I get up here on this blessed minbar, I swear by God, I'm not coming to give you a lecture. I'm not telling you how to live your life. I'm not telling you I'm better than you. Wal'iyadu billah. I guarantee you, you are all better than me. But we're here to serve Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam. And in service of Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam, he expects, though he welcomes all, as you are, he welcomes all, there's an expectation. Do you want to come to Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam and benefit from all that he has to offer? Then check yourself. And reflect and be honest. You've come this far. Do you want to keep going? Do you want to keep growing? Tonight may be our last. How are we going to spend it? Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam says, the Shia are those who in the night, they are like monks, busy in worship. Everyone is asleep. They take some time away from that night and in the privacy with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Their worship is not flaunted for the people to see. Wow, mashallah, what a believer, what a mu'min. What an amazing worshipper, mashallah. Look at his piety, look at his taqwa, look at her taqwa. When you get up to pray Salat al-Layl, you make sure the whole house hears you. No. Instead, monks. Meaning what? This expression, this idea, quiet in the night, busy in worship. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only one who sees us. If you pray Salat al-Layl, mashallah, salute to you. But don't tell me about it. Don't tell me you pray Salat al-Layl. That's private. Think of your privacy with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have things that you may be doing. You may be somebody who dedicated themselves for 40 days straight and recited Dua al-Ahd, the supplication of allegiance, the covenant, the pledge to Imam al-Mahdi Jalal ta'ala faraj al-Sharif. You may have done it. And by the way, it's such a simple challenge. Such a simple challenge. For 40 days straight, this is the Imam of our time. So many of us, we say al-ajal, al-ajal, meaning hasten. Hasten, O Imam. Come to us. Reveal yourself to us. 40 days. Can you wake up for Fajr, pray Fajr, and then recite the supplication called Dua al-Ahd, which will take you 5 minutes. 5 minutes a day, 40 days straight. And you are guaranteed to become one of the Ansar, the supporters of Imam al-Mahdi. Such a simple thing, right? Try it. Challenge yourself. Are you up for the challenge? Now I'm going to ask you, so we can support one another. Because our spirituality actually, in some respects, can be supported by one another. And that's why we have majalis and congregations. There are certain things that are done in the privacy of the night. Salat al-Layl, tasbihat, glorifications of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the middle of the night. Don't wake up anybody, don't tell anybody, just do it on your own. Monks in the night. But then there's other things that we come together for. Alright? Extremely beneficial for us. Our congregational prayers. Our majalis. Who here, in this majlis, in honoring the memory of Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam, when we say labbayka ya Husayn, is it not the equivalent of us truly saying labbayka ya Mahdi? When we say labbayka ya Husayn, is it not us really telling Imam al-Mahdi, we will never forget what happened to your grandfather, and because of that, because of our rejuvenation with the connection to Karbala, we are ready for you, Ya Sahib al-Zaman. Come, hasten. So can we encourage one another? I'm going to ask you, raise your hand if you are willing. You are willing to make this happen. It may not happen right away. I know people that spent 20, 30 years trying to make this happen. And they haven't given up. They haven't given up. Will you commit yourself tonight, and a night in memory of Aba Abdullah, and in salutation to the Imam of our time, Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman, will you commit yourself to reciting Dua al-Ahd after Fajr, so that you can give yourself the opportunity of being a supporter of Imam al-Mahdi? Who here will take the challenge? 40 days. 40 days. Who will take the challenge? My young brothers, I want to see your hands. I want to see your hands. And if your hand is up, come see me afterwards. And I'll talk to you how we can make the steps about getting our hands up. We don't know how much time we have. Trust me. Use this night to actually move. If this mimbar does not get you to act in bringing yourself closer to your best and highest self, I failed. I failed. I have one job up here. It's to move. One job. Ya Aba Abdullah. And it's not me. It's not me. It's me bringing forth, translating, articulating the memory of Aba Abdullah, the history of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, their principles, our creed, our belief in them, so that you and I can move. So that you and I can be what? Monks in the night, as Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam tells his companion. And in the day, lions. Lions in the day. Usudan or usudan fin nahar. You and I, my dear brothers and sisters, our spirituality is not something where we are meek, we are weak, we're to be trampled upon by others who are ignorant of what we have. But at the same time, we are not a threat to our society, and we wish not to impose ourselves in our society. We wish to exist, we wish to be, we wish to live, and not merely survive, even though many of us may be aware of the history that we've experienced across the world and across the centuries as Shia, as believers in Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, and many times it was just survival. We belong to that heritage, and we have the greatest gratitude to our ancestors, our grandfathers, our grandmothers. You and I, we may come from backgrounds that not only escaped wars, escaped famine, escaped starvation. Talk to your parents, talk to your grandparents, talk to your uncles and see what they left to be here. It wasn't just providing a better life. It was surviving at that time so that now you can thrive. We belong to a very rich history, my dear brothers and sisters. Never forget that. That history that comes with your parents and your grandparents, coupled with what? A spiritual heritage and a spiritual history that you and I, all of us, regardless of our ethnic backgrounds, regardless of the nations that we may come from, regardless of the citizenship that we may have, you and I, as followers of Ahlul Bayt, and as Muslims of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we belong to a spiritual heritage that is unmatched. Be proud. Every night, I'm going to tell you, hold your head up high as a Shia Muslim. Every night. As we examine all of these dimensions on our lives, socially, spiritually, physically, intellectually, financially, every aspect of your life, be proud that you are a Shia. Be proud that you are a Muslim. Why? Because a Shia Muslim only adds to his society. A Shia Muslim only adds to her community. A Shia Muslim only benefits those around them, even when they are persecuted and oppressed. Now you and I, when we're looking at Imam al-Baqir, Imam al-Sadiq, as they advise their companions, we have other variations, by the way. This hadith that I just mentioned about being monks in the night and lions in the day, there's also other narrations explaining to the companions who will be the Ansar, the supporters of an Imam al-Mahdi. And part of the description is that, monks in the night, lions in the day. Now you and I, when we want to be lions, who here, my young brothers especially, my young brothers, who here wants to be a lion of Imam al-Hussein? A lion. Who wants to be a lion? Maybe I'm making some of you uncomfortable. It's okay, I'm going to make you uncomfortable. Because if you're not here willing to be, or wanting to be a lion, we need to adjust. We need to make some adjustments, especially for my young men. If you don't want to be a lion, are you going to be a sheep? Are you going to be a fox? Are you going to be a wolf? You could be one of these things. The Imams describe their followers as lions. Truly. So if you're going to manifest the virtues that Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam would describe their companions and their followers in, then listen very closely. Because being a Shia is a big responsibility. It's a great honor, but it is a big responsibility. Are you capable of it? I believe you're capable of it. I believe you can do it. I believe that you're up for the challenge, but it's going to take a little bit of work, and it's going to take a lot of faith. Now, what do I mean by that? You and I, when we hear this, especially this idea of being a lion, Some of you may automatically be thinking, oh, I need to be aggressive. I need to go out. I need to face off with people. I need to get in people's face. No. Being a follower of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam is you are a protector. You are a guardian. You are one who is there for people. So some of you may be automatically thinking that when a person is more manly, when a person is like this lion, they are expanding their chest and their arms and making their way across the hall. Anybody ever see like somebody who is like a big guy, lifts, strong man, right? Maybe in the university setting or even the high school setting, is walking through the jock. He barely can make room for himself, so he's just walking through. Like, anybody see that kind of guy? Anybody see him? Raise your hand. It's okay. So anybody see that kind of man, right? Now, is that what we're talking about? And if you're that kind of guy, no offense to you. But the person that we're talking about, he may be strong. He may be capable. He may be big. Not just by physically. And we'll get to that. But instead of his arms extending where his elbows are hitting people in their face, his arms extend fully where they go around people's shoulders. So your brother sitting next to you, you make room for him and you bring him closer. The sister sitting next to the sister, you make room for her and you bring her closer. That is strength. That is what it means to be a lion of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Because look at Abu Fadl al-Abbas and his brothers. Were they ever ones who, when they came forward, the companions of Imam al-Husayn, the rest of Banu Hashim, they were relieved by al-Abbas and his brothers because they made room for everyone, even though they were so strong. You see, Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. Every single battle that you see Ali in, did he come running out telling the people, challenge me, I'm the champ, I'm the champion, I'm the warrior? No, not at all. Ali, when he came forward, most said, who is this young man? Who is this young man? Who is he to challenge me? When Marhab challenged all the Muslims and Ali came forth. When Amr ibn Abdul came forward and Ali came forth. What did they say? Go. They only found this young man to challenge me? I don't want to kill you. Ali responds, but I will. Ali, the lion of Allah. He never made any human being feel less. He embraced all. Was a strength to be reckoned with, but that strength gave everyone around him more strength. When the Muslims saw Ali take out the gate of Khaybar single-handedly, they were all rejoiced and rejuvenated, and the Muslims went forth, and the victory was theirs. That's what Ali did. You and I, let's be strong, but not a threat. Let's be lions, but not savages. When we're looking at our spirituality, we have to see that we have work to do. It takes work, but it takes a lot of faith. What does this mean when I say faith? In Arabic, it's called tawakkul. Reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, having faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who here, and I'm going to be a little bit vulnerable with you, and I hope maybe you can be a little vulnerable with me. Who here has experienced a time in their life where they felt like there was no way out? They felt, man, this is dark. I don't know what I'm going to do here. It could have been a financial problem. Like, man, I don't know if I'm going to even be able to make my mortgage. Could have been a problem with a family member. Could have been a health issue. Could have been a challenge at work. Could have been a challenge at home with your children, with your spouse. And you don't see the way forward. What saved you? Did it not work out? Did things not happen? And maybe not as you had it planned. Maybe not as you have thought. But if you were saved, who saved you? Did you save you? Let's check ourselves here tonight. Some people will call themselves self-made men, self-made women. I did this. Who brought me here? I brought me here. Who built my business? I built my business. Who got my education, made me the successful professional? I did. Nobody helped me. In fact, people are probably just getting in my way. Who did it? I did it. You can live in that illusion, but it'll only go so far. Nobody is self-made. Nobody. There's always something happening, even if you don't see it. And that's faith. That's tawakkul. When you don't know what's at the end of the tunnel, you only see darkness. I can't see more than 10 feet ahead of me, 30 feet ahead of me. There's a lot more ahead of you, even though you may not have the sight for it. It exists. It's there. That's faith. How can you and I, in our spirituality, move beyond, I want to feel a certain way, and instead be a certain way? Spirituality is not a feeling. Spirituality is a connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala associated with what? When Allah says, I do. When Allah says, don't, I don't. That's spirituality. You go to the greatest of the saints, the greatest of the Gnostics, the mystics of our time and before. They came to one of the greatest mystics and they asked him, Maulana, tell us how to be on your spiritual path. One of his students in the Hawza tells him, Maulana, tell us. Agha, tell us. How do we achieve the spirituality that you have? He said, are you ready? He said, yes. Give me the prescription. Give me the program. Give me the secret. He says, okay. This is what it is. Are you all ready? You all ready, brothers? Sisters, ready? He says, don't sin. The student. And? What else? That's it. That's a secret potion. That is the elixir of his spirituality. Don't sin. This ma'asiyah, this sin, the thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not even saying don't do. He's not telling you do this, do that. He's saying just don't sin. I told you stay away from this, just don't do it. Imagine that. He said, yeah, that's it. Have conversations with our scholars, our jurists, our maraja. Visit them in the holy cities of Najaf and Qum. Visit them, talk to them, ask them. It's very possible. Any of you going on ziyarah, ask. Ask those who are taking you on ziyarah. Ask them, will you be able to arrange for us to go and see some of the scholars? It's a must. I tell you this. Personally, I have benefited so tremendously from it. Because I will tell you this, my dear brothers and sisters. Our scholars yearn, our scholars in the Hawza, in the holy city of Najaf, in the holy city of Qum, they yearn to be connected to the followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. They ask about them. In all of my visits to the holy city of Najaf, every single time I've sat down with any of our scholars, with our maraja, with our jurists, they're always asking about us. How are they doing? What do they need? We are praying for them. Tell them we're praying for them. I have the honor, inshallah, I'm going to be going in November, taking a group of Zuwar, inshallah, from, we have, inshallah, actually a few places, not just here in the US. And anybody wants, mainstay.us, going on ziyarah, you want to go, English group, inshallah, we're taking Zuwar to Iraq. Anyone wants to go. I think there's only a few spots remaining, so no guarantees. But we emphasize, and every single time that we go, talk to the scholars, ask them. One young man asked one of the scholars a very simple question, a question that we're asking ourselves here tonight. How do I become more spiritual? How do I become more connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? He says, do you have a copy of the Holy Quran? He said, yes. He's like, okay. He said, do you have a copy of Nahj al-Balagha? He said, yes. He's like, okay. You have a copy maybe Sahif al-Sajjadiyya? And if you don't, can you Google it, look it up online? And the brother was impressed. He's like, mashallah, you know, the scholar's telling me to Google things. Okay. He's like, yes, I do. He's like, okay, Sahif al-Sajjadiyya, Mafatih al-Jinan, beautiful. He's like, every day spend a few minutes on each. Quran, Nahj al-Balagha, sayings of Imam Ali alayhi salam, Sahif al-Sajjadiyya, the Psalms of Imam al-Sajjad, Mafatih al-Jinan, Sheikh Abbas al-Qummi, rahmatullah alayhi, compiled these supplications and amal for us to do. Do it. These are all from Ahlul Bayt. Simple. Don't complicate your spirituality. I'll tell you this. We don't need anything that's coming outside of Ahlul Bayt. We don't need anything that's coming outside of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. We don't. We do not. So whether it be, and forgive me for anybody who gets offended by this, whether it be in the form of meditations that are being taken from other religions and other groups, or be in the form of other types of spiritual acts that have no foundation for us. Take what Ahlul Bayt gave you. I challenge you. I challenge myself. Take what Ahlul Bayt gave us, and you will find not just meaning, not just purpose. You will find the fulfillment you've always been looking for. You know why? The pointer is all to Allah. Faith in Him and no one else. Dependency on Him and nothing else. If you are dependent upon anything other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you failed. Because you've lost the meaning of La ilaha illallah. Al-Husayn alayhi salam on the day of the Ashura, with everything he endured and everything he went through and all that he experienced, the martyrdom of his brothers and his sons, his cousins and his friends, and knowing what is about to happen to his women and his children. Do you know what that does to the heart of a man who is the representative of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has humanity in his heart, who looks at the other side of the battlefield and says, I don't want my blood on your hands. Save yourself from this. The compassion of Abu Abdullah al-Husayn alayhi salam. He was a human being, but the cream of the crop, the best of the best, the most immaculate, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us that way. And Al-Husayn alayhi salam manifested the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in being the best that humanity can be. On the day of the Ashura, Imam Al-Husayn alayhi salam, with all of the tragedies that he faced, he looks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he looks to the heavens, and what does he say? Ya Allah, this is only bearable for me because you see me. You and I, we will struggle. We will face challenges. That is life. We can't escape it. If you want to escape your challenges, your struggles, if you want to push them away, no, you are no longer living. People without challenges, people without struggles, without burdens, without trials and tribulations, be worried. Be worried, because they're not alive. They're just being given some time. The person who is alive is struggling. The person who is alive is living through a trial, through a tribulation, and experiencing it. And his test, her test, their trial, what they're going through, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching, saying, who are you going to lean on? Who are you going to reach out to? Who are you going to confide in? Who are you going to complain to? What are you going to resort to when you are being pressured? What is your coping mechanism? What's your escape? How do we deal? This is the challenge. Let's be real. This is the challenge. You and I can sit on the prayer mat all day and avoid the world. We can avoid our problems. We can avoid it. We can isolate ourselves. But that was never prescribed by Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam told their companions, told their followers, engage with the world. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam would tell his companions, tell them, go to people's funerals. Go and visit their ill ones. Go and check on people. Do not remove your hand from the people. People need one another. Because if you remove your hand from the people, you may be like, I'm done with my community. I'm done with my society. I don't want it anymore. Okay. You remove your hand from your community, guess what? They're only losing one hand. You're losing the rest. The power of community is that people are there for one another. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam makes it clear to his companions, do not remove your hand from the community. And by the way, this was a prescription. And this is where you and I, we need to challenge ourselves in our strength. We need to make sure our homes are strong, our neighborhoods are strong, our communities are strong. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, when he was saying they, he was referring to al-amma, the general public, which was non-Shi'i, Muslims of other schools of thought. So he's saying be engaged with the rest of society. Do not isolate yourselves. Now will people still push you away? Yes. But the Shia is one who no matter what, even when persecuted, even when offended, even when oppressed, he gives the smile that Rasulullah taught Ali and Fatima. That smile, which is even with those who throw filth on us, we smile. Is it hard? Yes. Yes, absolutely it's hard. It's a struggle, it's a challenge. You know how hard it is for people to go through every day. I'm a Shi'i and I'm trying to go through every single day, and then I have people telling me, you're not even a Muslim? Come on. Come on, we're supposed to be brothers and sisters. No, you're not even a Muslim. Alhamdulillah. Smile. Keep going. Why? You have a role of what? In your spirituality and recognizing how it's connected to your society. You have a role of protecting and safeguarding Islam, even if others don't believe it. Even if others want to push you away and say, hey, you're not even amongst us. You and I have a responsibility. We have a higher calling. What do you think Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam is doing? He has concealed his identity. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has concealed his identity from the world. But do you think Imam al-Mahdi is just sitting idly by? No, my brothers and sisters. Imam al-Mahdi is the active Imam. He is the living Imam. When we say he's the living Imam, he's not just waiting somewhere. The Imam is working and serving humanity. You may not see him. I may not see him. But he sees us and he's interacting and engaging with the rest of the world. He is the sun behind the clouds. You and I, we may be going for a really long time. I'll tell you, here in the Midwest, sometimes we don't see the sun for months, right? Sometimes we don't see the sun for months. It's like, man, when are we ever going to be done with winter? You feel like it's never going to end. Sometimes. With the occultation, it may feel that way. But like we mentioned in the beginning with Dua al-Ahd, they may see or they may think, they may believe that it is far away, but we know it to be close. We know it to be near. My dear brothers and sisters, as we continue tonight in commemoration of Imam al-Husaini alayhi salam, I want us to make sure that we are never forgetting our role when it comes to Sahib al-Zaman. Because he is. the owner, the master, صاحب هذه المجالس. These majalis that we have, you think it's just you and me? No, it's not. Imam al-Mahdi, this is for him. It's for him. Keep that in mind. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. In the journey of Karbala, you and I know many stories, many traditions that have been passed down from generation to generation. And as you and I are yearning in the second dimension that we've mentioned, in these 5 dimensions, again, socially, spiritually, physically, intellectually, and financially, as Islam being our foundation, I want you to try as much as possible to see how you can connect with these experiences historically and not just take a lesson from them, but continue to challenge your paradigm in the way you see the world. With Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam and with the walk to Karbala that many of our brothers and sisters, and I heard, alhamdulillah, we have a few hundred people that have come from your community and have gone to the ziyarah of Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam, the walk to Karbala. I ask you if you have any family members, any relatives, any friends that are there and you're communicating with them. I know I have quite a few. I ask you, this is my ask, my only ask. Actually, probably have a few more asks. But this is one of my only asks, is that if you can ask them to pray for me and pray for our community, not just in Dearborn, because I'll tell you this. And this is something I wanted to make sure that I mentioned last night, but I forgot to. You and I belong to a community that is not just our locality. So you're here in Chicago, I'm, let's say, in Detroit, in Michigan. We have communities across the country, across the world. We are connected deeper than you and I think. I want us to start challenging the idea that you only belong to this part. Your base is here, but your growth and your expansion, not just the number, I mean the spiritually, you're connected to so much more. On the walk to Karbala, you see it so beautifully. You see all the flags from all different countries. You see people of all different colors, all different languages, walking to Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam. And everybody forgets. Doesn't matter how rich you are, how poor you are. It doesn't matter what family of prestige and nobility you come from, or if you're somebody who has no prestige and nobility whatsoever. Even though I will tell you this, your prestige and your nobility is with Imam al-Husayn. In Ziyarat Ashura, we are taught by Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam to say in Ziyarat Ashura, Allahumma ja'alni indaka wajihan bil Husayn. Ya Allah, make me with you of nobility, of prestige, of recognition, of worthiness with al-Husayn alayhi salam. Through al-Husayn alayhi salam. By al-Husayn alayhi salam. I want us to connect with that. Your ethnic background, your nationality, your language, your culture, great, hold on to it. It makes you you. But what is your core? What if you had to strip everything down? Strip everything down. Put aside your career. Put aside your education. Forget all the degrees that I have. Forget all the occupations I may have. Forget all the things I have done. I want you to go through this personal assessment. This personal reflection. Doctor this, doctor that. Business this, investment of that. Put it all aside. I belong to this country, this nationality, this ethnicity, this group. Put it all aside. Who are you at your core? Who are you at your core? If you had to drop everything off Tonight is your last night, and you have to walk to your grave. You have to walk to your grave. And they tell you, you can only take one thing with you. One identity with you. Who do you identify with? Just take that. I know who I'm going to identify with. I'm going to pray that I hold on to this name until I reach my grave and I remember it. And that I pound my chest to my grave with this name. Because it's that name.
لبيك يا حسين لبيك يا حسين لبيك يا حسين لبيك يا حسين لبيك يا حسين
الإمام الحسين عليه السلام, his name echoes with millions of voices in these days. But after the day of Ashura, there was a handful of people that called out his name. And some of it was more of a whisper, a whimper, a choked cry. I want you to remember that. Tonight, we're going to remember the whispers of Sakina. Some of you may have children. Some of you may have nieces, daughters of your own. I'll tell you, for me, a lot of times I think about my own daughter when I think of the daughters of Imam Hussein, but I don't want you to do that tonight. I don't want you to think of your daughters. I want you to think of his daughter. I want you to think of Sakina. Just her. Because what she went through and what we remember from her deserves for us to just remember her. If I tell you this tale of sorrow, will you lend me your hearts to borrow? If I tell you this tale of sorrow, will you lend me your hearts to borrow? Will you shed a tear for Hussein? Will you remember Zainab's pain? If I tell you this tale of sorrow, will you lend me your hearts to borrow? Will you shed a tear for Hussein? Will you remember Zainab's pain? And if we stay here tonight until tomorrow, will you bear this tale of sorrow? Listen here to Hussein's story, a story of heartache and glory, a story of heartache and glory. And if we stay here tonight until tomorrow, will you bear this tale of sorrow? Listen here to Hussein's story, a story of heartache and glory, a story of heartache and glory. After the day of Ashura, after the land of Karbala, the women and the children of Imam al-Hussein were taken captive. The daughters of Imam al-Hussein were chained at the wrists, were chained at their ankles and made to walk on the hot sands of Iraq. They were taken from city to city, from Karbala to Kufa, from Kufa to Sham. They were ridiculed, they were mocked, they were tortured, they were whipped, they were hurt in every single way. But what pained the daughters of Imam al-Hussein the most was seeing the heads of Imam al-Hussein, Al-Abbas, Akbar and Qasim, on the spikes held by the enemies of Allah as they walked on the sands. They would need to see the heads of Imam al-Hussein and his companions. Sakina would be with Lady Zainab. Lady Zainab would cover her eyes so Sakina would not see. And Sakina would call, where is my father Hussein? Where is Baba Hussein? Until they would come to Sham, and they would be made to sit in the Majlis of Yazid, La'natullahi alayhi. And Yazid would bring forth the head of Imam al-Hussein on a platter, and would poke the head of Imam al-Hussein with his cane. And Imam al-Sajjad would tell him, وَيْحَكَ يَا يَزِيد, woe unto you, Ya Yazid. This was the head that Rasulullah used to hold in his arms and kiss. Woe unto you, Ya Yazid. We will stand before our grandfather Rasulullah and complain to him on the day of judgment. In the Majlis of Yazid, as Lady Zainab would cover the eyes of the orphans of Imam al-Hussein, trying to protect them from this horrid sea. And as she would call out to Yazid, telling him, "Oh Yazid, scheme as you may scheme, plot as you may plot, but by Allah, you will never erase our memory. You will never be rid of us, and our cause will never be weakened. I ask you, oh Shi'i, oh lover of Hussein, will you answer the call of Zainab, as she tells him, as she promises him, we will never forget Hussein. We will never forget Hussein." Yazid La'natullahi alayhi, he continues to transgress against Ahlul Bayt, and when he finishes, he tells one of his speakers to go up onto the podium and begin speaking in honor of the Umayyads. He goes up and begins praising Yazid and Muawiyah, and Imam al-Sajjad replies to him and tells Yazid, "Oh Yazid, allow me to answer these claims, allow me to answer these lies." They say one of the advisors of Yazid tells Yazid, "Allow him to go forward, maybe there's something that we will benefit from. Yazid says, don't you know who these people are? If they say anything, they will expose us. His advisor tells him, it's okay, let him go. So Yazid la'natullahi alayhi tells Imam al-Sajjad, you have permission to ascend and speak. I want you to imagine the scene with me. As Imam Zayn al-Abidin would ascend the pulpit and begin addressing the people of Sham, and tells them, whoever knows me, knows me. But whoever doesn't know me, let me tell them who I am. I am the son of Mecca and Mina. I am the son of Zamzam and Safa. I am the son of the one who was sent to the Arabs and the non-Arabs by Allah. I am the son of revelation. I am the son of the one whom the angel Jibreel would speak to. I am the son of the messenger of Allah, Muhammad Rasulullah. I am the son of the one who ascended to the heavens. I am the son of Ali al-Murtada. I am the son of the champions of the battles of the Muslims. I am the son of Khadijat al-Kubra. I am the son of Fatima al-Zahra. And Imam al-Sajjad continues as the people of Sham, they are listening to him. He says, oh people, I am the son of the one who was slaughtered in the land of Karbala. I am the son of the one who was lonely, estranged, thirsty. I am the son of Husain. Sham. Now as an Imam al-Sajjad is reciting his own Majlis, crying and wailing for the Musibah of Abu Abdullah, Yazid la'natullahi alayhi, he tells his mu'adhin to stop Imam al-Hussein. Subhanallah, look at the irony of this. He wants to stop Imam al-Sajjad, so he tells his mu'adhin, the caller to prayer, go forward and call for the prayer. The people will turn on us. So the mu'adhin goes forward. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Imam al-Sajjad says, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and every part of my body testifies there is none but Him. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. He says, I bear witness with all those who witness there is no God but Allah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Imam al-Sajjad then turns to Yazid and he tells him, Ya Yazid, this Muhammad, is he your grandfather or is he mine? If you say that he is your grandfather, all of these people know that you have lied. But if you say that he is my grandfather, then why did you kill my father Hussein? Why did you have Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad take an army to besiege him and slaughter him? They say, brothers and sisters, they were taken after these moments to the dungeons of the Umayyad palace. I won't prolong any further, but bear with me as we remember the children in these dungeons. They say that night, as everyone would go to sleep on the hard grounds of the dungeons of the palace, there was one little girl who could not sleep. She could not sleep. All she did was cry the name of her father, Husain. Husain, Husain. Sakina would call out, Baba Husain, where are you? Come back to me, Baba Husain. They say Yazid Lanatullahi alayhi would be awakened from his slumber and he would look to his guards. He said, what is this sound I hear from below? They tell him, this is the daughter of Hussein. He tells them, what does she want? They tell him she keeps saying she wishes to see her father. She wants to see her father. He tells them, then give her what she asks for. They go down to the dungeon to see Sakina, still crying as she sat on the ground, calling Baba Hussein. Where are you, Baba Hussein? The guards come forward. They place a platter that is covered before her. She tells them, I didn't ask for food or water. I didn't ask for anything but my father Hussein. They leave her. Sakina removes the cloth from the platter and she sees the head of her father Hussein. Sakina embraces the head of her father and she calls out to him, Baba Hussein. I want you to imagine with me, what would Sakina say? What would she describe? In these moments before she passes away, because this little heart of this little girl had so much grief that soon she would return to her father and she would be with him. In her last moments, imagine with me what she would say. Baba Hussein, I've waited so long for you. Baba Hussein, I've waited so long for you. Why don't you come back to me? Come back, please. How can I live this lonely life without you here with Sakina? Baba Hussein, Baba Hussein. Recite with me. Baba Hussein, Baba Hussein, Baba Hussein, Baba Hussein. They gave me your holy head from a spear. They gave me your holy head from a spear. I hold it now, these small hands I feel you close, I hold it now. These small hands, I hold it close. But Baba, I am closing my eyes, maybe for good. But Baba, I am closing my eyes, maybe for good. Will you hold my hand as I come back? Will you hold my hand as I come back to you, Baba Hussein, Baba Hussein. Call with Sakina, Baba Hussein, Baba Hussein, Baba Hussein, Baba Hussein, Baba Hussein, Baba Hussein. What would Imam al-Hussein say to Sakina? My Sakina, my Sakina, my Sakina, come back to me, come back to me, my beloved. Come back now, come back to me, my beloved. Come back now, I will hold you tight. I won't let go, I will hold you tight. I won't let go. My Sakina, my Sakina, my Sakina, my Sakina, my Sakina, my Sakina. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. We belong to Allah and to Him we shall return. We ask Allah by the right of Our Lady Sakina to accept these tears, to accept this grief, to accept this sorrow, to accept our hearts as they are moved now by the tragedy of the saints of Karbala. But we ask Allah to accept this and to give us more in our path towards Him. We ask Allah to bring us closer to one another as believers in Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because He is capable and His will be done. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to heal our sick, to help all of those in our community that are in need, to forgive our past sins and set us straight on His path and give us a new day, a new future in the love of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. The future is bright in their love, my dear brothers and sisters. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to never forsake us, never prohibit us, prevent us from these blessings and His grace. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala this and the blessings of this majlis, of our salawat, of our shedding of our tears, and our Surah Al-Fatiha for all of our marhumeen, inshaAllah, بعد الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.
عاشور کی شب ہائے سکینہ کا وہ رونا، عاشور کی شب ہائے سکینہ کا وہ رونا، اور سید مظلوم کا بیٹی سے یہ کہنا، تو روئے میں یہ دیکھ نہیں سکتا سکینہ، اچھی نہیں یہ بات نہ رویا کرو بی بی، اچھی نہیں یہ بات نہ رویا کرو بی بی، اچھی پہلو میں کبھی ماں کے بھی سویا کرو بی بی، اچھی کرو بی بی، اچھی کیا ہو کسی شب کو جو ہم گھر میں نہ آئیں، تم ہم کو نہ پاؤ ہمیں تم بھی نہیں پائیں، تڑپو گی نہیں درد سے وعدہ کرو بی بی، پہلو میں کبھی ماں کے بھی سویا کرو بی بی، اچھی بات نہ کرو بی بی، اچھی بیٹھا کرو کچھ دیر چراغوں کو بجھا کر، سمجھا کرو اس خاک کو اے لاڈلی بستر، بالی کبھی یوں ہی نہیں پہنا کرو بی بی، پہلو میں کبھی ماں کے بھی سویا کرو بی بی، اچھی نہیں یہ بات نہ رویا کرو بی بی، اچھی یہ بات نہ رویا کرو بی بی، کچھ دیر کو یہ فرض کرو ہم نہ رہیں گے، باقی نہ رہے ہاتھ کوئی سرو نہ رکھ کر، ماحول یتیموں کا بھی سوچا کرو بی بی، پہلو میں کبھی ماں کے بھی سویا کرو بی بی، اچھی یہ بات نہ رویا کرو بی بی، اچھی یہ بات نہ رویا کرو بی بی، عادت ذرا تنہائی میں رہنے کی بھی ڈالو، تصویر تصور میں اسیری کی بنا لو، آزاد پرندوں کو نہ دیکھا کرو بی بی، پہلو میں کبھی ماں کے بھی سویا کرو بی بی، اچھی نہ رویا کرو بی بی، اچھی بات نہ رویا کرو بی بی، اصغر کو نہ مانوس کرو پیار سے اپنے، اکبر کی عروسی کے نہ دے کھا کرو صدمے، صغرا کے قریب نانا بیٹھا کرو بی بی، پہلو میں کبھی ماں کے بھی سویا کرو بی بی، اچھی یہ بات نہ رویا کرو بی بی، اچھی یہ بات نہ رویا کرو بی بی، زندان سے ریحان صدا آتی ہے اکثر، جیسے کہ سکینہ سے یہ فرماتے ہوں سرور، اب ڈر سے لعینوں کے نہ جاگا کرو بی بی، پہلو میں کبھی ماں کے بھی سویا کرو بی بی، اچھی یہ بات نہ رویا کرو بی بی، اچھی یہ بات نہ رویا کرو بی بی، یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین،
جہاں میں قید ہوں بابا بڑا اندھیرا ہے، جہاں میں قید ہوں بابا بڑا اندھیرا ہے، تیری سکینہ کو تاری کی اور نگیرا ہے، جہاں میں قید ہوں بابا بڑا اندھیرا ہے، جہاں میں قید ہوں بابا بڑا اندھیرا ہے، بس ایک بار جو آ کر ملو تو سو جاؤں، میں اپنے باپ کے سر پر نثار ہو جاؤں، اکھڑتی سانسوں کو اب انتظار تیرا ہے، جہاں میں قید ہوں بابا بڑا اندھیرا ہے، جہاں میں قید ہوں بابا بڑا اندھیرا ہے، لگے تماچے تو بھی ہوش ہم سے ہو جاؤں، بارے تماچوں کی شدا تو ہوش میں آؤں، یہ ہے رات میری اور یہ سویرا ہے، جہاں میں قید ہوں بابا بڑا اندھیرا ہے، جہاں میں قید ہوں بابا بڑا اندھیرا ہے، لائن مار تھی بابا تیرے لبوں پہ چری، تو چل دینا کیسے میں منہ کے بل زمین پہ گری، جو حال تیرا ہو آتا وہ حال میرا ہے، جہاں میں قید ہوں بابا बड़ा अंधेरा
Hussein, Hussein, Hussein.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليك يا رسول الله السلام عليك يا حبيب الله السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين السلام عليك يا سيد الوسيم السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء السلام عليك يا خديجة الكبرى السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين خصوصة سيدي ومولاي أبي الفضل العباس وأخته الأقيلة الحوراء زينب وأم كلثوم السلام عليك يا تسعة المعصومين من ذريتك ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء السلام عليك يا معين الضعفاء والفقراء السلام عليك يا شمس الشموس ويا نيس النفوس أيها المدفون بأرزطوس السلطان أبو الحسن يا علي بن موسى الرضا كن شفيع وشفيع والدي في يوم الجزاء السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام عليك يا سيدي ومولاي صاحب العصر والزمان السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن السلام عليك يا إمامي وإمام الإنس والجان أجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل لنا مخرجك وظهورك ورحمة الله وبركاته